the Asheville View. I'm your host, Aisha Adams, and today I have the P20 Council with us, and they are going to be talking to us about partnerships from pre-K to post-grad. So why don't the two of you tell us a little bit about yourselves and your involvement with the Land of Sky P20 Council?
Hi, my name is Emily Nicholson. I'm the Executive Director for the P20 Council, which is a 4-county collaborative network aimed at increasing post-secondary credentials in the region. I hail from the eastern part of North Carolina and recently moved my family here to western North Carolina, and I'm loving the outdoor life here.
Hi, I'm Joseph Fox, and I'm the coordinator for the My Future North Carolina Land of Sky Educational and Workforce Attainment Collaborative. It was the precursor to the P20 Council, and Emily will be telling you a little bit more around the how we've evolved from the collaborative to the P20 Council. But I'm delighted to be with you today.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Dr. Fox. And Emily, thanks for coming. Emily, will you tell me, what does the P20 stand for? And what is the work that you hope to accomplish?
Sure, that's a great question, Aisha. The most common question we get is, what does P20 stand for? So P20 stands for pre-K through post-grad. So those, I guess you could say years after grade 12 and the grade 20 that you can get to in your academic journey. And so it represents the continuum of all the partners involved along that journey from early education through grad school. And the significance of P20 in the region is one, that nothing like it's ever existed before. This is the first opportunity we've had to convene all of those stakeholders from that progression of academia. And so this really represents a unique opportunity for the region to focus on what we have to do to increase the number of individuals with credentials to fill the jobs of today and tomorrow.
Which organizations make up the P20 Council, Dr. Fox?
So we have really been blessed in our region of Western North Carolina to really have a good partnership with a number of organizations. And so, as we talked earlier, we span the globe from pre-K early childhood education programs through postgraduate work to gainful employment. And so we have pre-K individuals that represent membership on the P20 Council. We have all of our high schools, the superintendents of the 4-county region that we operate within. We have the 2 community colleges, AB Tech and Blue Ridge Community College. We have representation from the private universities. We have economic developers throughout the 4-county region, as well as the 4-county government representation. And then we have a number of businesses that hire our individuals that are part of the P20 Council. So we really are looking at that partnership that helps create that foundation in early childhood educational program through whatever credentials individuals decide to obtain that leads to a thriving living wage employment in our region.
So this partnership, this council has come together for our listeners at home to sort of encourage them toward certifications, certificates, college degrees, all the way up to post-grad. So this council is together to ensure that more of us are going through that process and being successful, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So what challenges have you all faced in just trying to come together with such like a widespread? I would think what's important in a pre-K curriculum or environment might look different in a post-grad environment. So what challenges have you faced?
I think that is an important distinction there that you made in regards to, what we have to focus on for early ed versus what we have to focus on for universities and community colleges. So some of those challenges certainly are, policy regulatory barriers that are chronic that don't just face the Land of Sky region, but they really impact the whole state of North Carolina. So we really want to think about the power of the members of P20 in being aligned in what their advocacy avenues are for making life easier for our early educators, but also, ensuring that we have those challenges removed for K-12 students and beyond. So yes, there are challenges in that there are unique aspects facing each of those partners, but there are ways for us to, band together and make sure that we have one common voice when it comes to advocating for pre-K through post-grad.
That's 100% correct. And then I would say another challenge is just making sure that we're communicating and engaging the community as we are working towards these partnerships that lead to either short-term credentials, and that can be a credential through a continuing education division that may be a 2 or 3 a credit course that they're taking through continuing education. It could be a 6 weeks training. It could be a third-party credentialing. It could be a certificate or diploma on the community college side, or a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree, but really aligning that with our community to say, this is what the jobs are. These are what the jobs are in Western North Carolina. This is what our employers are hiring for. And so making sure we get that message out to communities, and particularly communities of color and under-resourced communities that don't normally get their messaging from traditional sources. So a challenge is reaching individuals that we know are valuable in the workforce. They're valuable in the workforce, and they can contribute, but they may not know that these jobs are available throughout Western North Carolina.
Why is this work so important? Now, I see the 10K gap behind Emily. So if you talk a little bit about why is this message important for listeners at home? What should they be cluing into? And what's the impact of what we have happening here?
So as Joseph has alluded to, our goal is not simply to make sure that more people go to college and, get a job. Our goal is really for those individuals to have upward mobility and to have family sustaining wages. In some of our counties, if you are a 2-parent household with 1 child, your livable wage, according to MIT, is anywhere between $25 and $30 an hour for this region. And we all know why that's the case, especially right now. And so we want to advocate for individuals to not just obtain credentials, but obtain credentials that lead to those sustainable wages and lead to career ladder growth. So really why this matters for individuals at home is because we are not here to advocate on behalf of one particular credential or even one particular training provider. We are here to convene forces, so to speak, and to make sure our students understand, and our adult students even understand, that there are options for them, whether that option is at UNCA or that option is at Blue Ridge Community College. We need to make sure we're helping them find that pathway so that they start a credential that they're not just passionate, that they know will lead to a paycheck, but they are also passionate about. So I think that's really why it matters for our viewers.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback, Aisha, I follow you regularly and the work that you do through Equity Over Everything. And one of the words that you constantly use is thrive. And we want residents to be able to thrive and live successfully in Western North Carolina. We don't want them to have to move out of our counties to get employment that sustain them in a thriving position. We want them to be able to stay here. We also want to get the message out to them that whatever the credential is, there's money out there that they're leaving on the table that will pay for these credentials. An example would be the recent work around community health workers. There are dollars out there to pay for that training if our communities will find out about it. And so one of the reasons we wanted to come on your show today was so that we can share that information with residents. And short-term programs such as welding and construction, in our area, they start around $30,000 for just a basic certificate program. And so we want to make sure that anyone that wants to get those credentials, that we remove those barriers that's standing in their way. And even if it's childcare or transportation issues, there are dollars out there that will cover those things.
I love that. It's so exciting because, I'm all about the thriving wage. So that's exciting to hear. My question for you too is, if I'm someone at home right now and I'm like, I definitely need that $30,000 and I definitely want to become a welder, what do I do?
I think one of the first steps that whether you're a student in high school and you're trying to figure out what to do once you walk across that stage, or you're a 35-year-old person and you're looking for a career change, one of the first things you need to do is fill out your financial aid form online. You need to figure out if you are eligible for some of that grant money that's funneled through federal or state sources. And you never know until you start that step. And so one of the features of our website is about FAFSA resources. And really where you can go for help to fill that out. It is all online. However, being a federal form, it does have its, challenges and its length. So you have resources available to help guide you through that process. And to make sure that you are getting the money that you may need to go to school. And it's not just tuition money. It could be those supportive services funds as well, such as what you may need for, childcare and transportation. So I think that's a good first step if you're sitting at home and you're wondering, what your next career pathway looks like.
Awesome. So what other takeaways would you like to discuss or to share with the community from today's discussion?
Joseph, do you want to take that one? I feel like I've been talking too much.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. So everything that we do, we include the equity lens. And to me, equity means making sure that there's access. And so, yes, we talk about filling out the financial aid form online. And let me just say that FAFSA stands for free application for federal student aid. And so there's not even an application fee. But if there are challenges that people are having with filling out that form, first of all, as Emily mentioned, there are videos and things and resources on our Atlanta Sky P20 Council website. There's videos that will walk parents through how to fill out that application with their students. Or there's high school counselors that will help the students at the high school level. At the community college and the four-year university level, there are individuals on their campus that will sit down and help folks walk through filling out that application. If you are looking at a specific program, one of the features that are on our website is a scholarship financial aid resource guide. And so if folks just look at that resource guide, there's links for the scholarships at the high school level. There are links for the financial aid. There's link to individual scholarships that individuals, particularly if they're already enrolled, can fill out for the completion. And then contacting individuals that on those campuses. I do a lot of work in the community, and I still get a lot of calls around. In fact, I got a call last week where a student was standing in the lobby of one of our community colleges with a parent and was trying to figure out what the registration process was. So while talking to him, I called that particular campus and said, "Hey, do you have a student in your lobby make sure somebody's out there to help them. So there's help for students that are really wanting. And when I say students, I'm talking about the whole gamut of ages. And so we also partner with, veteran programs. We partner with women's shelters. Anyone that's looking to get that degree to move up in upward mobility, their financial aid resources for those individuals. And then we also want our community leaders and those individuals that are working with advocacy groups, like my sister taught me that, my daddy taught me that, Youth Transformed for Life. Those individuals that are already working with a certain population of students to know that these are resources out there. And so what Emily and I tell folks is that we are not reinventing the wheel. There are high school programs and certificate programs and community college and four-year programs and after-school programs, United Way, for example, that are doing good work. And we are here to be a resource for connecting those educational dots that lead people to where they need to be for gainful, thriving employment. So that would be the takeaway that I would really love your listeners to have today, to either contact me or Emily if they're having some challenges, so that we can connect them with the right people and get them on that pathway. And it may even be a CTE pathway that they're in high school. One of the things, the shortcoming that we have found with the early data, particularly with underserved and under-resourced populations, our students of color, or as you know, that I like to say, of Dr. Pigmentation or Dr. Hue or Dr. Tone, are not taking advantage of free programs like middle college and early college, where they can take high school classes and community college classes for free. Even the textbooks are paid. And so there are resources for anybody that really want to thrive in Western North Carolina.
That sounds amazing. I wanted to go to the higher end of the spectrum because I feel like when we talk about programming, the pre-K babies, they're going to get all the attention, the high school students as they graduate. But let's talk about what's happening in our workforce now. And there are people that may have a bachelor's degree or may even have a master's degree that's wanting to do a career switch, or, are wanting to go up in their career with inflation and everything, like just trying to take their career to the next level. Is this the right place for them as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think regardless of where you are on that spectrum in your professional or academic journey, the Land of Sky region has countless offerings for you, whether it's through a private or public training provider. Like Joseph alluded to, there are so many options for aid in order to achieve what you need to achieve. We understand that a lot of the times you can't quit your job in order to go to school because you need to put food on the table for your family. So we really work with the colleges to determine, what are the best hours to offer for a particular program of study for adult students that have families, so that they could both work and go to school at the same time. And so we realize those barriers, and we want to help in a collective way to reduce those barriers for, our residents. And particularly, when you think about our counties that are facing a decline, in workforce population, even before, this workforce crisis we have on our hands, Madison County comes to mind. They have a 15% decline in the number of individuals that are, graduating from high school and entering the workforce. And so with that decline in mind, we really have to be mindful of how those employers are going to be able to fill those jobs so that the local economy thrives overall, because, we all do better when we all do better. And so I think that's an important takeaway too, is that we realize those barriers, but collectively we have to find those intersections to, collectively impact that.
Well, thank you so much for being here and talking to us about educational attainment and sharing that there is money out there. There are resources out there. You can get help with that complicated financial aid application, and you can live out your dreams, right? Because that's what we're all here to do, is to live out our dreams. So thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. You're watching the Asheville View, and I'll see you next time.